a very chilly morning here at the clearing. We're in front of the Jensen Center looking at our first fall color victim for this morning, and people often don't think of this as fall color. I do. This is seasonal needle drop on white pine. We looked at arborvitae or white cedar I think last week, and arborvitaes and all of the true pines like white pine, red pine, and there are many true pines. They all will color and drop their old needles. It happens very suddenly in mid to late fall, and you can really see it well here. These are the 3-year-old needles on white pines that are coloring, turning yellowish brown, and falling to the ground. They're all over on the ground here. White pines are probably my favorite pine. Very soft, fine textured. They're one of the 5 needle pines. You always, the needles, oops, there it goes. The needles are in bundles on true pines, and always 5 in a bundle in white pine. Our other common native red pine in Wisconsin, red pine, is a 2-needle pine, 2 needles per bundle. White pine always has 5. A lot of people wonder why things like spruce and fir and hemlock don't do this. Well, they don't have what is called seasonal needle drop. They will drop their older needles slowly over the course of the whole year, so you never really notice it. But it's very noticeable on true pines like white pine and on arborvitae. Here we are down at the council ring at the edge of the escarpment, the Niagara Escarpment, looking at Quaking Aspen or Trembling Aspen. And there is quite a breeze here this morning, but even if it were just a slight breeze, they'd be quaking or trembling. It's many plants, I'm trying not to fall over here. Many plants in this genus, it's the genus Populus, so they're also called popples or poplars. They have a longer, flat petiole that catches more wind, and they shake or shimmer or tremble or quake in the slightest breeze. We saw this with big-tooth aspen last week as well. But this is the famous one, and it got the name quaking or trembling aspen. Its scientific name is Populus tremuloides. Bright yellow in the fall, like you see right here. You'll often see pictures out in the Rocky Mountains where this also grows, of whole mountainsides, bright yellow. It's all one plant. It's a big clone because they send up suckers and they can cover large areas. You don't see that as much in the Midwest. But everybody loves quaking or trembling aspen in the fall. And here it is right next to some really nice brownleaf dogwood, which I think we also saw last week or a couple of weeks ago. So a nice contrast between the maroon, red, and the bright yellow of the quaking or trembling aspen. Here is everybody's favorite plant, poison ivy. It's actually not an ivy at all. It's actually related to sumac. With its classic leaves of 3, actually they're leaflets. This is a pinnately compound leaf, so this whole thing is a leaf, and those are leaflets. And I often tell people, if poison ivy didn't do what it did to our skin, we would grow it as an ornamental, as a ground cover. It's got great fall color. The leaves, when they come out in spring and early summer, are glossy, beautiful foliage, and again, great color in the fall, red, reddish, orange. But they do have this one strike against them. But they are beautiful right now, poison ivy. We looked at roundleaf dogwood in color a couple of weeks ago. Here's one of its cousins. This is Pagoda Dogwood, one of, I think there are 5 native dogwoods in Door County. This is Pagoda Dogwood. It's the only one that has alternate leaves. All the other dogwoods are opposite. But they all turn a nice color in the fall, usually maroons, a little bit of yellow in here too. But all the dogwoods are great. The other thing I probably didn't mention with roundleaf dogwood 2 weeks ago is that all the dogwoods are great for attracting birds. They all produce a little berry. It's botanically, I think it's called a drupe, D-R-U-P-E, but we look at them as berries. And dogwood berries are just savored by all kinds of berry-eating songbirds. And they ripen usually in mid to late summer, early fall, and they disappear right away because the birds take them instantly. But great fall color on all the dogwoods, including Pagoda Dogwood. And last but not least today is everybody's favorite sugar maple. They've just been spectacular this year. And they really, when you think of fall color in Door County, that's what you think of. You think of the sugar maples because they're everywhere. And some of them just turn yellow, a nice yellow, but just yellow. But in good years, a lot of them have a lot of orange or reddish orange in them too. And that pigment that causes that reddish orange color forms in the fall as the chlorophyll breaks down and the sugars accumulate in the leaves, produce those anthocyanin pigments, which are the reds and the purples and the reddish oranges. The yellows are there the whole year. They're just masked over by the chlorophyll. But the chlorophyll is, the green pigment is unstable in cold weather. It breaks down quickly as the weather cools in the fall and unmasks the yellow. But the reds and the purples and the reddish oranges form in the leaf in the fall as the sugars accumulate and can't escape to the rest of the tree. Some cells block off, some cells right at the base of the petiole where it joins the stem. It's called the abscission layer that forms, and then the sugars can no longer leave the leaf. They accumulate and those pigments form. And just an excellent year for sugar maple this year.